We as jiu-jitsu people will go to the gym 3 or 6 days a week and we'll go absolutely bananas every single day. We'll push up body and we'll just beat the crap out of each other. But then these same guys are the ones who are scared of lifting heavy weights, scared of doing deadlifts, scared of doing bench presses because lifting weights is dangerous. We have this entirely backwards. Lifting weights is the safer option. I love jiu-jitsu, but jiu-jitsu is way more risky, dangerous. The chances of an injury are much higher. So today I want to explain to you why jiu-jitsu is a lot more dangerous and why lifting is incredibly safe and how we can use lifting to make jiu-jitsu less dangerous. Very dangerous because we just don't control a lot of the factors, right? We can be like, hey, I'm going to tap early, I'm going to flow roll, I'm going to roll light, but we all know how that goes. Oftentimes, we kind of get into it and we end up rolling harder than we want to. Plus, we can't really control our training partners. We don't know what our training partners are going to do. Sometimes we have great training partners. Sometimes we have more like spazzy training partners. And hopefully your gym doesn't have malicious training partners, but that's something that comes up from time to time too. But if you think of what jiu-jitsu is, the sport, the martial arts, it's literally the practice of like simulating trying to break each other's joints and trying to choke the shit out of each other. And because of that, that's just inherently a lot more dangerous than picking weight up and putting it up and down. And when it comes to like live sparring, and we do a lot of live sparring when it comes to jiu-jitsu, it's just so chaotic, so unpredictable, and it's really hard not to get injured. And that's why it's definitely more dangerous than lifting because there's so many unknowns and it's just not a very predictable. Now let's talk about strength training. Although some people don't do it properly and they kind of let the ego drive how much weight they lift, which is a problem in itself. But this is why lifting is extremely safe. When you compare it to like sports in general, but especially like a combat sport like jiu-jitsu, it's incredible. Like I said, as long as we're not like lifting with our ego and getting carried away and kind of doing dumb stuff that we know is dumb, like you're probably not going to get a major injury. So we control the amount of work we do. Are we going to do 1 set, 3 sets, 4 sets? And this is where we control how intense our workouts are, right? So how heavy we go, how close to failure are we training, how much rest we give us, which is a very underrated variable that really can make like lifting like so much safer and obviously drive more results. And of course, we do the particular exercise we choose. So if we want to develop our legs and we do a squat and squats hurt our back or our knees, we can just do another leg exercise. The bottom line is lifting weights is extremely predictable. I think one of the big really get wrong with this is just load management. They don't know how to load. And of course, if you go in and you smash yourself in the weight room every single day, 3 or 4 days a week, injuries are going to pop up. But if you do that with anything, injuries are going to pop up. If you do that with jiu-jitsu, injuries are definitely pop up. If you train 3 or 4 days a week and you treat every roll like it's the ADC, dude, you're going to get banged up in no time. So now that we discussed like how lifting is much safer than jiu-jitsu, I want to make a couple points here. And this is not me insulting jiu-jitsu. I love jiu-jitsu. I'm a BJJ black belt. I train 6 days a week, usually 8 to 9 classes a week. And I'll say that to brag, just saying that, like I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. I love this stuff. But we just have to look at the facts. So the irony is by doing strength training on a regular basis, we can actually strengthen our muscles, bones, ligaments, tendons, so that we're safer when we train jiu-jitsu, okay? We can handle the forces that are applied in a chaotic round. And at the end of the day, what this allows us to do is when we train jiu-jitsu, we are much safer. And that's going to extend our jiu-jitsu life and also the quality of it because we're going to be able to train jiu-jitsu but not feel like crap afterwards, all right? So if you're someone who you do jiu-jitsu and you feel like beat up, you feel like an 8-year-old man, you feel sore, you can't recover, this is why we strength train. And before I leave you, I understand that most jiu-jitsu guys who kind of struggle with staying healthy, they also tend to struggle with cardio too. So I built this free BJJ conditioning guide called the BJJ Conditioning Masterclass. It's basically like a week worth of emails where I send you a tip a day to really teach you everything you need to do to build an endless gas tank. If you're interested in that, I'll put the link in the descriptions.